All right, so we got Tailgate Talks on AI in construction. I've got my favorite guest in the world here, Aiden Foley,
Honored.
my son. We've had a few interviews with Aiden over the years. You can check out some of the posts where I was up on campus in Chico State, one of the best schools, colleges in the country, especially for their construction programs, CIM and construction management, which Aiden is in. We also visited him on site last year when he was doing his internship for Gelati Brothers. They're a powerhouse heavy civil contractor here in Northern California. Aiden, thanks for being on Tailgate Talks on AI.
Thanks for having me.
Give a quick background on what you're doing at Chico State, and you're doing your internship this summer. Describe the work that you're doing.
Yeah, gladly. Over at Chico State, I'm heading into my 4th year. It's a brilliant program that they have going on there. It's run by some very experienced people throughout the industry that we as students are very fortunate to have come and basically work for us in a sense by lending us that information, and we get to use that knowledge in the classrooms to really test our skills and prepare us for the world that we're going to be going into. But nothing is as good as the internships, which is probably the best part about our program, I'd say, is the networking that all comes through it, is that we get to meet so many different companies. Even if you're not working with them, you get to go to their presentations where they tell you everything about them, and then you get to do, questionnaire with them after and talk to them about it. Even, you can go with them for drinks over at the bars, and I hear that that's one of the best ways to meet people and, get close to guys in the industry. But nevertheless, the internships, like the one that I'm working at with Nibby Bros Incorporated, I'm working at SFO, the International Airport at San Francisco.
Big project.
Big project, regarded as one of the best airports throughout the world, and to be fortunate enough to be with a company that's working there and the experience of working in those site conditions with all these other subcontractors as well as alongside these GCs, where we all have completely different scopes in order to, we all have this goal of making SFO better, and it's all just about how we're doing. And that's a project that's going to be going on for a long time. That's not finished, or at least they're not thinking it's going to be finished until 2050.
Cool.
So
well,
it's
well,
going to be awesome.
You're talking up a lot of experience. You've one more
Oh,
year,
yeah.
one more year left of school, and then you're out in the big bad world. So
Yes, sir.
all right, Eddie, no hype, no experts, no wrong answers. We're going to try and do it in the next 5 minutes. I'm going to give you 5 questions, the
Cool.
same as I give to folks from the industry, whether you're swinging a pick in a trench, or you're the CEO of a producer or contracting business, or you're a student, perhaps, coming into construction. So when you hear the words AI agent, what honestly comes to mind?
Totally, and this is one that's been brought up a lot more. I've always thought of it, and this is also because I love science fiction, I've always thought of it if, Iron Man, Jarvis, he's the AI that he talks to in his head.
Okay.
It's his companion throughout all the work that he does, whether he's building suits or, saving the world or whatever it is. Jarvis, or his AI agent as I see it, is his companion in helping him navigate through not only all the information that he has, but Tony Stark I'm sadly not Tony Stark, a brilliant, genius, he's rich as hell, but he has so much going on in his head that he can't remember a lot of the things that he does, but everything that he needs is within Jarvis. He wouldn't be able to do anything without Jarvis. So you kind of see, one way or another, you see Jarvis as a character in that story, but nevertheless, I see Jarvis that way as a companion in my work that allows me to sift through information and get what I'm looking for a lot of the time.
That's awesome. I wasn't expecting that answer, but that's
there's a good one.
Yeah. If AI could take one task off your plate tomorrow, what goes first?
Yeah, everyone talks about automation, and at least for what I'm working with in school and then also in my internship, so much of what we have is we get a lot of information that needs to be put onto a spreadsheet, or some form of information sharing way, or even just a doc where a lot of people need to see it, and then it needs to be presented in a certain way so that people can understand that information, especially if they're not someone who's familiar with what they're looking at. So I would say a big part of that is automating, being able to have so-and-so information, whether it's station numbers or blah, 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 put onto spreadsheets. Things that might, like they give to me at my internship to get familiar with what's going on in the job, especially a job as crazy as SFO, where I need to categorize all of that information that I'm working under the superintendent, for instance. He just does not have the time to do that. So wouldn't it be awesome if instead of giving it to me where I could be doing other tasks as well, and he himself could be focusing on so many other things and everyone else could be caught up on that info, if you had an assistant, an AI agent that was able to categorize that information for you, which is simple enough, right? Like you just need to put it on the spreadsheet. If there was some way for it to, take everything that you have there and then simplify it onto another doc, which, I've used it to do for me plenty of times.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. That's a real world example.
Totally,
that you're dealing with right now.
I'd say that's the next step for it as well. That's a part of automation where we're not taking humans out of the driver's seat, but it's something that'll just help with efficiency. Right?
Nice. What part of this business would you never hand over to a machine?
That's a great part. That's a great segue, because I would say anything that involves human safety. I think you touched on that in one of your episodes or something. Obviously, you'd never have, especially, and I'd say most people in the industry would agree with it, you wouldn't have AI operating machines around people. You wouldn't have AI, it's becoming a thing now where AI is driving vehicles around us, but site conditions are so much more difficult and precarious. Is that the word for it?
Yeah, when you're around humans and you're in deep trenches.
Exactly. We have all these, safety protocols and rules for a reason, because it is so unique in the areas that we work where there is danger constantly a lot of the time. And as good as AI is at figuring out all these things, what happens with the liability?
Yeah.
What I'm learning for the first time, especially after working with, when I was younger, with a bunch of cowboy, companies and stuff like that are just willing, if you need to get the pipe in there, they'll get it in there one way or another. But as the industry's grown and we're heading into this new world, liability is a thing. That's something we need to have. So what happens when that AI, if we're using it in an operator capacity, for instance, it hurts somebody and there needs to be some sort of lawsuit around it? Well, how do you sue an AI? Are we suing the company that it was subbed out to us for to be doing that, or do we sue the GC using it?
That's where, I get it, liability. And I touched on that in a previous comment where, it's like contracts as well. AI doesn't sign a contract, and the AI taking control of the safety and the well-being of a human. So 10 years from now, give me your best and worst case for this industry.
Ooh, that's a good one. Best and worst case for this industry. There's a lot of things happening in modular that I could see AI already has a huge hand in it when it's, automated manufacturing and whatnot with those, 200,000 square foot factories they have out in Idaho, and other parts of the U.S.
So you can see just the prefabrication.
I see it, that's a big part of it, but I also see it a lot of kind of like how I was talking it in the PM capacity, where they're being overloaded with so many different files. Or, for instance, with my job, like I keep on bringing up, very interesting site conditions, we have hundreds of traffic control plans, hundreds. And we actually bring up those traffic control plans. We reuse them a lot of the time. So like I was saying before, how awesome if it would be if we could have like a little Jarvis that could help us comb through so much information that we may have gone over 6 months ago. We've had so many things and meetings happen since then. How do we, accurately remember that stuff or bring it back up in the right moment? And it would be awesome if AIs could be, or if AI agents could be more in touch with our day-to-day, with what we're doing, in order to help us do it more efficiently. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So you're talking about a best case, a very, very positive side.
Totally.
What about a worst case? And I know you watch a lot of sci-fi type stuff, so I could imagine where your head would go with worst case.
So worst case is that I'd see it, replacing so many roles where they make it so efficient for companies to rely on AI for one thing or another, where, it pushes humans not necessarily out of the driver's seat, but where humans, like we as the workers, as the general labor force or whatever else, are the ones that are almost, trying to fight for the job, or the ones that are, arguing for any pay, whether it's
against a robot. Or
totally,
against
look at the movies.
Human.
Total Recall, or The Running Man, where people are working in dystopian conditions because they have to, because there's no other alternative, because there's the computer.
Well, rise of the machines.
Totally. Where it's like, what are you going to do against the machine world? It's so much bigger and stronger than you.
All right. Well, let's get to the last one. So I often ask this question to the older guys like me in the industry. What are you telling, your fellow classmates, guys like you, the younger generation, coming up about getting into this business? What advice do you give your guys your age.
Yeah, and I love talking about it with my classmates. We theorize about, where the industry is going all the time because, it's so new for us and we're using all these things that people that are well deep into it aren't using. And then my friends as well, who, we're all growing up now and we're all starting to go our different directions for what we'd like to see ourselves become as, professionals, what we're doing for the rest of our lives. And I always tell people that construction, no matter what, I mean, even since the dawn of time, isn't going anywhere. And I've had people try and argue to me that AI will take every job on the planet, and I have a huge hard time imagining AI being able to do the things that a human can do, as in getting in a small little crawl space, fixing an uncomfortable piece of HVAC equipment,
Which you've done plenty of.
which I have done plenty of,
yeah.
in a house that was built in the weirdest of ways, but it's still there and it's been there for hundreds of years and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'd agree, because that's the stuff that, whether the true craftsman stuff, like we were back in Ireland recently, we were looking at old thatched buildings and thatched roofs, or the awkward stuff that, is not a square box in the middle of a flat lot somewhere. So I hear you on that. So, all right, Aiden. Well, we're probably gone over our 5 minutes, but this has been an awesome conversation.
I think it was great.
Tailgate Talks on AI in construction. Aiden Foley, like I said, my favorite guest of all time, and I'm immensely proud and love you always. And
love you, Dad. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good luck in your last year of college.